Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 44. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Watching the Throne. Jay, what's going on?
Not much, man. Same old spot, same old time, same old everything. Yeah, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And joining with us today, I was about to say almost as always, but not as, or at least lately, is our guest super fan Christina, who's always got creative names, aka Scorpion under the bucket for this one.
You should have seen her name
Thank you for
before that,
having
guys.
Yeah, no.
No, I always
No.
appreciate it. I always appreciate the names. It's awesome. But yeah, thank you for joining
Sure.
us once again. Always a good time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. And will you be here for the next couple? We'll see. Maybe, guys. You might say.
Do you want me to come back?
Again, you're welcome. You're welcome to. We'll talk later. But yeah, of course, you're welcome to come back. It's been a great season so far. And today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones season 5, episode 4, Sons of the Harpy. And a really great episode, I think. And if this is your first time checking out this show, this is the show here where we kind of do like a review, overview, rewatch type of thing, where we have a discussion episode by episode on Game of Thrones. As I mentioned, Christina is kind of representing the super fan side of things here, having watched the show a few times. It's my first rewatch ever of the show after having watched it originally. And Jay, of course, is our newcomer here, who's representing the does not know what's going to happen ahead of this episode. So please keep your spoilers to yourselves, guys. Don't spoil it for JT. So yeah, Jay. Well, actually, let's ask Christina this time around. What did you think of this episode, Christina? Overall, this one.
It's just getting better. Every episode this season just gets better and better. And I love the character development, the backstories, things, yeah, like they've alluded to in the past few seasons, because now we're in season 5. The story just gets better and better. And I'm very excited for you both to rewatch it again, or for Jay to watch it, period, but you to rewatch it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Driving me nuts.
Listen, I don't remember everything either, believe me. So yeah, I'm also having a good time with this. But I will say some great fucking introduction to some great characters in this episode, which I had forgotten about, honestly, till this episode, which we'll get into later on. But these are, I really like the 3 women characters that they introduced us to in this one. Oberyn Martell's bastard children there, which we'll get into later on. I really remember liking those characters a lot. So I was like, oh shit, these women. Yeah, that's right. Jay, what do you think about this one?
It was interesting. A lot of stuff to take in on this one. So a little bit to kind of absorb. Okay, a little bit of a switch from the last one, and all this new stuff that's happening with Sparrow, seeing Bronn and stuff again, and we'll get to see what's going on that end, and Jamie and stuff, because we didn't get to see them last episode, right? So a little bit of them in this episode. Yeah, it should be fun, man. It was interesting. I'd like to see where it goes. I think I have a what the fuck at the end too here, but I mean, I noticed it was another one of those what the fuck at the end of the right. So I mean. I go, what the fuck? Yeah.
I had to look back because I'm like, what happened again? Oh yeah, yeah. That was a crazy end. There was a crazy end to this one. Yeah, absolutely. So, I feel like they're also, we're seeing over, I would say, every episode this season, they're really picking and choosing on who they're like, which characters they're planning on, like they're focusing on, I think, more this season, instead of like, I feel like in the past seasons you would get like 5 minutes, I feel like, with every character almost every episode, where in this one you might not see certain characters for 2 episodes, I find, but then when you do get them, you get like a 15-minute scene with those characters or something like that. Like I think the pacing is changing a little bit now, where they're kind of like putting the main focus on certain people that they find are more important, obviously, to the story as it is now, as opposed to before, where like, let's check in with everybody. Like, have we even checked in with Bran at all this fucking season? I don't think so, right? Like, you were
I
on the
haven't
first
seen him yet.
with us. Yeah, I don't think Christina, do you recall him being in those? I don't think he was, right? Yeah, we
I'm
haven't.
not mad about it.
No, neither am I. I agree.
Mm-mm.
I don't. That's one of my least favorite storylines right now, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't really touched. We
No.
haven't touched on him at all this season, right? Which is
Nope.
kind of interesting. They're like one of the main Stark children is just not the focus at all right now, right? Which is I think interesting.
Yeah, and last season it was a big thing, right? Too with the editing part. So I mean, it just totally disappeared. Now this season, we thought you see something. I'm hoping that maybe we'll see something before the end of the season, but who knows, right?
Yeah, but then you got all this other interesting stuff going on with the whole like the fans and the Oberyn Martell, like all the Doran stuff, which is fucking interesting. And you got the, we don't know what the fuck's going on with Arya and that whole situation now. So like, yeah, there again, it's just they continue changing the direction, I feel like, of the show in terms of like these storylines, right? And then beautiful thing is when they intersect like they do, when you get these different pairings of people together that you didn't think you were going to get, right? So, and how they come to those points, right? And there's still a lot that's going to happen still. So buckle
Buckle up. It's
buckle
gonna be a
up.
fun ride.
Yeah.
God,
Anyway,
it's getting
wait.
so much harder to like keep my mouth shut.
I can only imagine.
yeah.
Oh,
Jay, what do you think
God.
overall though? You enjoyed this one as well, or?
Yeah, I did. It was different. I mean, I had to focus a little bit more on the storylines because these are a little bit new to me. So, yeah, I'm trying to keep my eye on that stuff, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Because this is where I mean, this is a lot of the interesting stuff. So, I'm starting to believe this is starting to get a little bit more interesting. This part of it, because I like to still know what's going on with all this, those people with the masks and all that crap, and. So we'll have to go. We'll go from there and see what happens. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good one.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into
I
it.
I forgot about his kids completely until you just mentioned it now. You
Yeah.
might see the picture of them there. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a picture of it, throw it up later on, which we'll get into
Yeah.
more towards the end of the episode. But the episode opens up at Volantis during the night. Jorah Mormont knocks out a fisherman and steals his boat, leaving with his captive, Tyrion Lannister, kind of following up on the events of the way the last episode ended. Just quick little scene showing him kind of abducting him essentially in the night, right? And I guess they lose Varys as a result of this for now,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yep.
we'll see where he goes. Or maybe Varys knew about it. I'm starting to wonder. You never know with those two. They're fucking sneaky, right? Varys and Baelish, those two. You never know. They've been sneaky this whole series so far.
Varys was working with Jorah before, or at least Jorah was feeding him information before with when he wasn't sure about where his allegiance lay when he was trying to get a pardon for the fact with the whole Daenerys shit that was going on, right? He was sending information to King's Landing. So there is that connection, but
Well, and I also wonder, did he set him up knowing that he's going to be sent and going to that brothel maybe or
I
be
think
in that city?
I think it was complete coincidence, honestly, the way they set this up this scene. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think it's complete coincidence.
Okay.
Jaime Lannister and Sir Bronn are on a merchant ship which is headed to Old Town in the Reef. They sail past Tarth, off the coast of the Stormlands, which Jaime mistakenly identifies as Estermont. The captain corrects him, stating that they are sailing past the Sapphire Isle, which reminds him of Brienne because that's where she's from, right? So
Yeah.
I just love how, like the description of Tarth in the beginning, or when he said it in like season 2 or 3, was like, oh, it's an island full of sapphires. It sparkles blue. And, and then you look at it and it's like these little hills in the water and they're green. And it's like, okay, like it's just grass.
when he tricked that guy, right? That was
Yeah.
do something with Brienne, right? So Jaime explains to Braun that he bribed the captain to let them take a small boat to shore as they pass Dorne, and they will land just outside of Sunspear and the adjacent water gardens. Below decks, Braun remarks on why Jaime must want to go and protect Princess Myrcella for himself. He's the one who let Tyrion escape, and he hopes that this will make up for that. Jaime says that Varys did, when in fact Jaime forced Varys to help him free Tyrion. Bronn says that if Jaime ever sees Tyrion again, Jaime should give him his regards. Jaime angrily says that if he sees his brother again, he's going to split him in two for murdering their father, Tywin. and then Braun said, if you ever see the wee fucker, give him my regards. but the question is, did you believe him by stating this in this scene? Because we know that he's got an affection for his brother, right? Like, he loves his brother, right? What do you think? Did you believe him in this moment? Him expressing this about, oh yeah, if I see him again, I'm gonna fucking kill him, right? You believe this?
I
I
believe.
think
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
yeah, sorry. I think it's like, typical sibling, like, rivalry. I think, when you're pissed with your siblings, you're just like, I'm gonna freaking kill them. Like, I don't
How many
think it
times I was gonna kill my brother?
yeah, like
Probably
I
yesterday too.
same. Like my brother and my sister, like I think that's just what it is. And he's obviously on a mission to like right a wrong for the love of his life, aka his sister. Gross. But I think he's just saying it just, because he's emotions are high still, and he's still,
I
trying
agree.
to figure that out.
Yeah. And Jay, you think the same?
Well, yeah, I think if that is not, then somehow Tyrion's gonna talk his way out of it, right? He's gonna talk shit about his dad and how he made him. You know what I mean? So it'll be like one of those, yeah, like you said, I guess sibling rivalry sort of
Yeah.
things.
I didn't believe him for 1 second by him saying that, just because I feel like he has such a soft spot for Tyrion, and like
He's angry now.
yeah, he's angry, yeah, but I don't think if if time were to pass and he does end up meeting him somewhere down the road, I doubt
They'll talk it out,
his brother exactly. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So,
I agree.
or not.
but yeah,
Or
I
not.
don't like that laugh. I don't know about that laugh. I pay attention. I've been paying attention to you guys. The way you guys, after I say something,
I
the way
think
you
we're
guys
doing
kind
really
of react.
good.
You're doing a really good job, but it's fucking with me too as well, because I
No,
don't know if I like that little laugh from Nico.
I
I
enjoy
thought
to
maybe
hear your theories, though. That's what's
I
fun. Like,
know. Be
that's why.
like, fucker, you don't know what's coming. Kind of. That's what I'm waiting. Like, yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those laughs. Like, you don't even know what kind of ride you're going on, buddy. You haven't
No,
even
you haven't
stopped.
even
You
hit the
haven't even
top of the you haven't
the
even
roller
hit the
coaster.
top of the roller coaster yet, man.
Yeah,
You're still climbing. So just keep
I know. It's
just
fucking
just
would be bad.
I'd also like I love this pairing, by the way. Braun and Jamie, I think, is a fun pairing. I mean, if I'm not gonna get Braun and Tyrion, I'm happy for this one.
So
yeah.
good so far.
Yeah, and also I kind of like I liked how obviously Braun is like alluding to the fact that obviously he knows why he's going there to get her.
Yeah, he's like, you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah,
I like
I'm
it
going
to
to get my cousin. This is what he said. I'm going to my cousin,
those unsaid things with like
kissing cousin.
Jamie always has
That's
to
what it
give, like,
was.
turn looks to people whenever it's brought up. He's like, "Shut up!" like, come on, like we know.
This is fucked up.
Anyways, at a small council meeting, Master of Coin Mace Tyrell brings bad news that the Iron Bank of Bravos is starting to call in its debts from Westeros, something that we've seen brewing all last season, right? They have started by calling in 1/10 of the Iron Throw's current debts to the bank, which they can only afford half of, as rebuilding the royal fleet was also a massive expense. Mace offers that House Tyrell could front the money for the time being, but Cersei clearly does not want to give the Tyrells more power over the crown. Instead, she says that they will send Mace himself to Bravos to negotiate for more time, because sending such a high-ranking official will show them how seriously they take their large debts. Mace is oblivious that this is also Cersei's way of removing him from the capital, and it takes it as a high honor, as well as that Cersei will send Sir Meryn Trant of the Kingsguard along to guard him. After he leaves, Pycelle bitterly points out that the small council is growing even smaller. The only 3 members left in the capital currently are Pycelle, Cersei, and her lackey Qyburn, but she says it hasn't quite grown small enough yet. She's working. She's doing her
She's
thing.
working that table. Yeah, man.
She's making moves. She's making moves, right? Really,
Kicking people out of the bar.
showing signs of her father, like in this moment. I feel like very
strategic.
She seems to be like a king.
Yeah.
Well, she idolized her dad, so she watched everything he did.
I mean, I
So
don't
it
even
was
think
just
Jamie
like,
can pull it off good like
hell
this.
no.
I don't even think Tyrion could pull it off like this. You know what I mean? Those guys are spoiled. She's the one who I feel like, if she had to and it was left to her in some sort of way, a manner, yeah, she'd be the king.
I mean, she's
queen,
fucking
whatever you want to
acting
call it.
right now in a way. She's already doing
Basically,
like with her son kind of off to the side with his new wife there.
it's
She's
so good because she can manipulate her kids.
Like most
It's
mothers.
great. Most, yeah.
Cersei then meets with the High Sparrow, who, by her influence, has now been elected as the new High Septon of the Faith of the Seven after the events of last episode.
Coincidentally.
So she's already moved him into a position of power based off of their last interactions, right? So again, she's doing her thing. She's making moves here. Cersei is trying to build up a new alliance between the Crown and the Faith as a counterweight to the large political influence the Tyrells now possess.
Yeah.
Cersei points out to the High Sparrow that the War of the Five Kings has devastated much of the countryside, resulting in septs being burned, clergymen attacked, and even silent sisters raped. Bodies of holy men are piling up in the streets. The High Sparrow admits that wars make men obey the sword more than the gods. Cersei points out that before the Targaryens, the military order known as the Faith Militant dispensed the justice of the Seven. The High Septon is confused as the Targaryens disbanded the Faith Militant over 2 centuries ago. Cersei explains that as part of the new alliance she hopes to build between the Crown and the Faith, she will tell her son to repeal the law and allow the Faith Militant to be reestablished and rearmed an army whose purpose is to defend the faith, holy men, and the small folk, and which will incidentally be turned against the Crown's enemies. She then advises him that there is a great sinner in their midst who has been shielded by golden power. The High Sparrow replies with a wish for the Father to judge him justly. Big things are happening here. So, so basically she's putting him into a position of power, aligning themselves with the church, but this is not a faith that they really were following prior till now, right? This is a new kind of religion, let's say, right? That's kind of been rising to power in the city. That she's aligning herself with pretty quickly in order to basically nudge out the Tyrells kind of power, like in place of hers right currently, right? What do you think of this move, Jay?
It's big. It has to be because she's trying. Yeah, it's not even think it's just worrying about the Tyrells, but whatever else is coming ahead of time because she doesn't even know it yet, but she's got other people coming. Like they got the Nears and all that's starting to work their way, and you know what I mean. This is all going to be starting to play a part in everything soon. So you gotta start getting your army big and getting everybody, but aligning it with this kind of old faith. This is the one with the symbol on the fucking heads, right?
Yeah, I mean, like to call them extremists, I think is putting it lightly.
Lightly. I mean, to do something like this, right? This is the one we're talking about here. This is that symbol that they're using on their head.
About to get into the scene where they kind of, but I think to put somebody in this position of power was a pretty quick move on her part to give him that authority.
It's bold.
Yeah.
It's bold and it's brazen, especially knowing her past. Like you're asking for it, girl. Like, you think you're untouchable, but okay. Like,
I mean, she's pointing the finger, but she's just as guilty in terms of sins than anybody.
Yeah. But this just shows like what happens when you become powerful or when you become take a position of power. This is exactly what happens. You think you're invisible. You think you are untouchable. And she's
in a glass house, right?
Yeah, like she thinks she's exempt from this for some reason because she's not a man. So she thinks she's like, oh, I'm going to do all these things and yeah, I'm not going to be touched because I'm the queen mother or something, or I'm, the acting hand of the king or whatever it is. But anyways.
Yeah, no, I very hastily move, I think, done by her here, right? By putting in this, but we'll see how it plays out, right? The new faith militants stormed the streets of King's Landing, attacking taverns, brothels, and street vendors selling idols from other religions. The City Watch look on helpless and do not intervene. They ransack Littlefinger's brothel, dragging prostitutes out into the street by their hair. Oliver is struck and ignored as they barge in. Oliver hears screams coming from another room, which he approaches to see the Sparrows have singled out a male client having sex with one of the male prostitutes. And of course, from the religious aspect, homosexuality is obviously frowned upon. And the Sparrows had assaulted the customer and prostitute with knives and hurled homophobic slurs against them. One Sparrow approaches one of the men with a knife. Oliver flees as one of the men screams off screen. As a sign of their zealotry, the Faith militant have the 7-pointed star symbol of the faith carved into their foreheads, including Lancel that we see in this, Lancel Lannister, who recently converted over, as we know, who leads a squad of the Faith militant to apprehend Loras Tyrell while he is sparring in the practice yard. Lancel proclaims that Loras's sexual perversions are sins against the laws of God and men, and Loras is dragged off. So yeah, there you go. This is her first move on, obviously, Marjorie's brother here, is to say he's gay, like, take him away, and like we don't approve of this, and yeah, she fucking gets.
I
Yeah.
think this was her intention, was like, because he was next in line to marry her, right? So she's thinking, okay, let me just get rid of him. Like, we'll just get rid of him, and then, the Tyrells will be so upset that they'll just like leave. And I don't think she expected like what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, as a result, like she's really hitting it where it hurts with Marjorie as well, right? So like,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
because she's pretty coy when Toman's about to go and speak to her, and in this next scene here, she's like, "Oh, well, I have nothing to do with that. I mean, he kind of just, he did like he thought he had to do. That's, that's their department. I've appointed them there now, so like I can't really interfere. Like, why don't you go ask them yourself? You're the king, right? So yeah, I don't know. Very interesting stuff going on.
Yeah.
Very quickly too. Waste no time this episode with this shit happening, right?
No.
Marjorie Tyrell is furious at Tommen for her brother's arrest, then tries to manipulate him by weeping at how hurt she is that he let this happen to Loras. Tommen then goes to his mother and, briefly standing up to her, demands that Loras be released at once. Cersei calmly points out that she didn't arrest Loras. The Faith militant simply dragged him off and imprisoned him, so he should ask the High Sparrow to release him. Again, like not placing blame on herself, being like, yeah, sorry, like I appointed him and this is his doing, trying to. But, this is what I was referring to last episode when I'm like, this is the moment where he really should be like, I'm king, and fucking push his authority a little bit onto these folks. But I think he's unfortunately he's being led around by now his wife, his mother, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, he's kind of in this awkward position at this point in time, right? And, and obviously I feel like Marjorie now is going to use sex. She's going to put that on the table to kind of, keep him motivated, right? So, I think it's interesting what's going on now. And Tobin's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place at this point. Like, he's kind
Poor
of
guy, man.
led around at this point by the women in his life.
Yeah. I mean, like,
But-
seriously, he just fucking, he hasn't even have a mustache yet.
No, he
like,
doesn't. Yeah.
Not even probably pubic hair. That poor kid.
He so yeah, to go back, I know we talked about this last episode, how like what we shared our thoughts about how like Tommen,
Yeah.
do you think he's a good king? Do you think he has the right temperament, whatever? And I know in this scene, he has his chest puffed out and he thinks he's all powerful, and he goes to meet with the High Septon or the High Sparrow, and when he's refused, he could have, like you said, like, yeah, okay, he could have maybe asserted his like kingliness, but I think, I don't know, he actually played it smart, because he's surrounded by, on one side, he has the, like the sons of the, not sons of the Harpy, oh my god, like the High Sparrow, like the sparrows or whatever, like these religious zealots and whatever on one side, and then on the other side he has the people of King's Landing who are throwing comments. I don't know if you picked up on that, but they're calling him a bastard, and they're calling him like, just, so it's like, if he does provoke something in this moment, like when he's on the stairs of the Sept and he's trying to, I understand, like, he could have maybe asserted more dominance in that situation, but I see it a little differently, where it's like, I think he played it like really smart, because he could have gotten himself like in a lot of like.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, if anything, he's kind of he has to now reassess the situation as a result of everything
Right.
kind of occurred here. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he did. Last thing he wanted was an uprising in the city, like, and you know what I mean, like, as a result of everything that's basically going on now, which is already
Yeah. Because his king's guards that were with him were like ready. Just say the word, my king, and I'll have them all like torn down. But it's like, okay, but then what about everybody else behind you?
Yeah,
like, yeah, sure, you can get to the Sept, but then what about coming back? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I just
No,
see like I
it's a good point. It's a good point. It is a good point. I just, yeah, maybe he's not being a hothead about it. I mean, he's definitely,
no, he's not his brother and he's not his dad
yeah,
or
exactly.
Robert,
Yeah, that.
right?
Hey, what do you think?
It was great, man. I don't think he needed to assert any power, like you said. I mean, I thought he was a little bit of a pussy at first, but the way you put it, I mean, it's true. You don't know what to do at that moment, right? I wrote down that it's kind of played a pussy move, kind of that way, but uh, you don't know what to do. And plus, this is all new to him, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like where you go from here.
Yeah, well,
What do you do? Do you have
And
to?
it's like Nico said, he's trying to please like all these other people in his life. Like, he's trying to keep his mom happy and his wife happy and everybody
Oh, I
like
know I have about
happy.
trying to please everybody. Trust me. Me and Nico have talks about this all the time. You gotta stop trying to please everybody, bro.
Same.
no, it's true. I mean, it's sometimes the people's fault, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
it's
The
it's a
fucking
good,
sickness. Yeah.
That's why I
it's
go to
a good
therapy,
and bad
guys.
quality. It's a good and bad quality to have, I think, right? I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's
We also can't expect that in return, right? So let's see if he expects that in return, right? Because he doesn't, right? What happens? We see thing leave, right?
right. Well, as these things play out, as we just talked about here, he naively thinks the High Sparrow will simply do as he requests. So he heads to the Great Sept of Baelor with 5 Kingsguard and several Lannister guards. The path to the Great Sept is blocked by the Faith Militant. Data that the High Sparrow is praying, did not wish to be disturbed. The Kingsguard requests that he let him kill the Faith Militant to pass. He's surprised at this and does not want to risk bloodshed, as Christina had mentioned, escalating matters, particularly shedding blood on holy ground. As he hesitates, the mob of commoners behind him starts shouting that he is really a bastard and an abomination of incest. Yeah. Realizing this is not going to end well, he withdraws back to the Red Keep.
Yeah.
Marjorie is even more upset at how ineffectual young Tommen. Is it Tommen or Tommen? I don't know.
I think it's Tommen, but
Tommen?
whatever.
Okay,
Like,
it's Tommen this whole time. You should have told me.
I don't
okay.
know. I thought you were saying it right too, Nick. Don't worry.
I don't know. So she, I always, the names are the hardest thing about the show for me. So
Yeah, it's so true, right?
So she leaves saying that she is going to bring her grandmother Olenna back to the capital to deal with this, which I was really happy to hear because I love Olenna. She's a great character.
Same.
But she really fucking was upset with him in this scene because she's like, "You're useless." Like, and right
Well, the
away,
look on his
I
face
love
was like, I'm not
he was
getting
like,
laid
"Well, are you
anymore.
coming?" He's like, "Are you coming back?" And
Yeah.
she's like,
are
"I
you
don't
gonna
know."
come back to bed or like that's all?
That's what I felt like it was, man.
Well, no, but that's what she was. She was with. She's like, well, that's sex is off the table now for you. She's punishing him.
Sucker.
I
Go to
think
bed without a bottle.
I mean, she was just really just sticking it on about how upset she was with him in this scene. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just like, yeah.
Typical women. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to get us caught. It's okay.
are we wrong by saying that, Christina? I mean, like, like,
That's
We
something
have
that
our ways. I'm not
used
here to
that
spill our
against me a lot.
secrets and get into it.
it's off the table. I'm just saying, it's off the table.
I felt Tomlin's pain, man. Tomlin's pain. I felt
I
it
felt
when he said, "Are you
Marjorie's,
coming
so,
back? Are you coming back?" Yeah, because he wouldn't kill somebody. Come on, like come on, poor guy. Now he's gonna end up killing all kinds of people because he's gonna yank it when he gets
It's her
home.
brother. She's panicked. She's pissed. She knows
know.
she knows this is Cersei. And I think it's just like, again, it's like it's a sore spot. Like they're
Like, tell your mother, get the fuck off the fucking. Oh, get her off the game board. That's
she was
what
trying to
basically-
get him to do that before like things escalated this way. But now I think she's realizing, okay,
She's gonna
no,
start
now
playing
we
the
have a
queen
real
card.
problem. Now we really gotta play our cards right here.
She exactly, yeah, exactly. And I'm happy to hear that she was just like, oh yeah, you want to play that way? All right, I'm bringing Olenna back to the capital. She's like,
Yeah,
the one woman that just tells it how it is, right on this
I
show.
need the OG here.
Yeah, she's the best. So, which
Yeah.
we
By the time she goes to get her and come back, bro, he's gonna be dead. Fuck.
we haven't seen her since Joffrey's wedding. So she left after being the one obviously involved with that him getting killed, right? We haven't seen her since then, right? So
No.
right? So she was just like, fuck this place, I'm leaving. So here we go. Jon Snow trains recruits in the practice yard at Castle Black as Stannis Baratheon and his wife Selyse watch, along with their daughter Shireen. Celeste is worried that Stannis wishes Jon was his son because she gave him only stillbirths and weakness, but he says that it wasn't her fault. Melisandre joins them and appears to quite firmly take Stannis' side, declaring that the Lord of Light doesn't care about Shireen's grayscale disfigurement, and this doesn't change the fact that she has her father's blood. When Celeste departs, Melisandre discusses the coming battle to take Winterfell from the Boltons. She asks if Stannis intends to leave her behind as he did at the Blackwater, but Stannis assures her he won't this time. I really fucking hate this mother here. She really treats her daughter like shit. And I mean, they keep reminding us of us like every fucking scene that she's in with her. And it's quite annoying. I really don't like it. And
she
That's
seems
what
to
you
be
really
all right.
feel.
I don't think she seems to be that bad of a lady. Okay, yeah, she gives him. She didn't give him what she wanted, but fuck, she's still
She's
there.
pretty
She's still
horrible.
hanging around. Yeah,
talk
I
shit about her
guess.
daughter every fucking scene she sees her. What are you talking about?
But most mothers talk shit about their daughters, man, at certain ages, man. It's just the way it is.
Like that.
I grew
No,
up
I
like
think
that.
she's obviously she's got a few screws loose herself. Like
Well,
she's
doesn't every woman?
you're really
Sorry.
cruising today, bro. Like, oh
Dude, this episode helps though, man. That's why. It just proves my point.
no, I think she has a lot of like trauma. I think there's a lot of like birth trauma and like just emotional trauma that like she's just really messed up. And I think finding this again, that religious section, like, like with Melisandre and like, I don't know. I think she's like just trying to, I don't know. I don't know.
This is the birth of swinging. That's what we found out. This is what's going on in this. It's the birth of yeah. In this time, this is when they finally said, "Oh, okay, you know, I'll share. You take the dragon home for tonight." Yeah.
Are you saying a child that's birthed from swinging gets grayscale? Is that what?
No, I don't know yet. Maybe, bro. I don't know what this show's gonna bring.
Oh no, you're saying because of her, the Melisandre kind of loves her
Yeah.
triangle
Yeah,
here.
I guess we were bringing all the religions into it, and these guys are like swinging over here. Who knows? Maybe the mother's banging somebody else.
No, it's really I think he's just banging Melisandre now. I don't think he's banging his wife. I don't think it.
Poor woman.
As the new Lord Commander, Jon goes over paperwork with Samwell Tarly. Letters they have received from minor houses offering up a handful of new recruits. Jon reacts as Samwell hands him a request letter from Bruce Bolton, of all people, saying he killed his brother Robb. Sam points out that Roose Bolton is now the Warden of the North, and he has the most recruits to send them, much more than the pittances offered by the other minor houses Jon has never even heard of. He reminds Jon that the Night's Watch has sworn an oath of political neutrality, and with disgust, Jon reluctantly signs a letter to the Boltons accepting their help. This really sucks.
Right? I forgot about that scene.
Yeah.
I didn't even write it down.
I mean,
it's a very small scene. It didn't last very long, but
I said Sam and Jon talk and say something to Lord Bolton. Looks like they might see, but it looks like you might see his sister though, if with this whole situation, right? Where they're going. This is where I'm wondering, right? Like what's happening.
It sucks. I mean, like Sam, right, in what he tells them that they can't. Again, he brings up the fact that they can't choose sides in this matter, and they need the help. So like if he's offering help, he has to take it, but that doesn't change the fact that this guy's responsible for killing, your brother, your mother. Well, not your. Actual,
and now living in your home, that's bullshit. But okay.
It's a fucked up situation. It's a real fucked up situation for sure.
It is. Sorry, I got distracted. It's like a fruit fly. I don't know where this fruit fly came from, man.
Like, did you turn into a cat?
Yeah, no, I tried catching it. Seriously, sorry, guys.
All right. As Sam departs, this is Jay's favorite scene. Melisandre enters. Nudity we're asking for here. I mean, she's still getting naked every scene, it seems like. She wants him to assist Stannis.
Because she wants stuff.
I can't wait for something to reveal here.
Oh, please. Can we just record his face?
What?
Nothing.
There's something you guys are gonna actually take a snippet out of, probably.
I said too much, but we got to make sure you're on for that episode, Christine.
Oh.
All right.
You guys are fucking me.
Nothing. I'll tease you with this one. This one I'll tease you with because even me, I was like,
It doesn't get easier.
yeah, no. She wants him to. As Sam departs, Melisandre enters. She wants him to assist Stannis in retaking Winterfell, pointing out that even if he doesn't become a Stark, his familiarity with the castle could win them the battle. She also acknowledges that there is a greater war at stake and asks Jon if he is on the side of life or death. Undoing her dress and straddling him as she does so, she encourages Snow to take her, as the Lord of Light made humans male and female for a reason. Although clearly tempted, Jon refuses, citing his vows and the fact that Stannis wouldn't approve, to which Melisandre suggests they not tell him. When she points out that he broke his vows once before, Jon acknowledges that he still loves his now deceased lover, Ygritte. She adjusts her dress and leaves, but not before uttering the words Ygritte had always told Jon, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." Basically adding insult to his blue balls injury that I'm sure preceded.
Oh, dude, I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, right. He's got some fucking, I don't know, man. He's starting to become a real trooper or something. I don't know what's going on. He's got some he's set in his ways and
He's
man.
loyal. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, he's loyal.
So he's going to die. That's probably what's going to happen.
Don't get attached.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to.
So you commend him on him not hooking up with her, Jay. I'm surprised. I thought you'd be.
Well, I don't commend him, but it is part of his thing, right? I mean, it is part of who he is. I mean, I'm not that person, but I mean, he can hold back. Like, I mean, dude, seriously, I don't know how many people could. It definitely would have been hard, bro. I'll tell you that much.
I
you're asking for it.
I knew that was where it was going. Yeah. Sorry, Christy.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I really like. I just.
Where were you on yesterday's show, bro?
I really loved how how she says that line, and it was kind of like only Jon and Ygritte would have known that, right? So it's like she pulls that out, like she's talking to the dead, and just like the look on his face is like confusion and horror and like what the hell kind of thing. Yeah, because I don't think he's ever encountered someone like Melisandre in his life. So it's like, how do you know this?
Turned into Ygritte or something while he's banging her, dude.
I think the one person that has her figured out though, like from the get go, is Davos.
100%.
Because like she's got such an allure to her, though. Yeah, she's good looking and stuff, but like most people just kind of get sucked into like some sort of like vortex with her, it seems like. And like you said, like don't trust the witchcraft shit that goes on. And if you guys remember, we've seen early occurrences of this kind of stuff already with that woman that was with the whole Dothraki situation, right? If you recall that, like we had seen what kind of witchcraft type shit that happened with her too, and how that kind of backfired. And so like I think there's already like we've seen instances already on the show where that could go wrong, like it could go really wrong for folks. And like I don't know if we can trust this person, right? Like but everything that she's actually promised Stannis almost at this point so far has actually come to pass very slowly, right? So it's just like I understand Stannis
I think that's why he's kept her around for so long, is because like at some point it's like what she says comes true. So he's like, all right, I'm not going to kill this one because like.
But at what cost, right? And and obviously they continue to. That's a ongoing theme I feel like with this storyline, right? Which we're going to continue to see, right? So
differences. This is getting interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Stannis has always had this whole. They've always had a good storyline. That one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're really dancing around a lot of stuff right now for you, Jay. Unfortunately, just in terms of
these episodes are so hard. Yeah. Oh man.
Later, Stannis is in his chambers at Castle Black working on other letters, and Shireen enters. Stannis begins to apologize for dragging her along on campaign with him, as Castle Black is hardly a place for a child, but she cuts him off. She tells him that she is happy to have come and expected to be left at Dragonstone, as Selyse had wanted. Shireen asks her father if he is ashamed of her because of her deformity. Stannis gets up from his table and explains that not long after Shireen was born, A Dornish trader arrived on Dragonstone and, having heard of Shireen's birth, gave a wooden doll as a gift for the newborn girl. Unfortunately, the doll was contaminated with grayscale, and by the time that was discovered, Shireen had already contracted the disease. Everyone claimed Shireen would die of it sooner or later, and urged Stannis to send her to the ruins of Valyria to live out her days with the Stone Men, which, again, we're learning more about this disease and the fact that there is actually a place where these people apparently exist that are, I guess, covered in complete grayscale, Jay, which not I guess, I know, but they're referring to these Stone Men people a lot more now, as you can tell.
But what they're saying is that she contracted it.
Yeah.
When she's
So it's
younger.
a disease. It's like
I thought
leprosy
she
or
was
something.
born with it, though, is what I thought. I thought they were born with it. Okay.
Before the disease infected the rest of the castle, Stannis says he told them all to go to hell and summon every healer and maester he could to save Shireen. Stannis insists that Shireen is his daughter, and he would not send her away because she belonged with her family. Shireen, overjoyed at her father's declaration, runs over and gives him a hug, which, after an awkward pause, Stannis returns. I think this was a rare, nice moment of care and humanity from Stannis, who's usually a cold ass motherfucker, right? Like, which shows like no emotion, I feel like. But this is like the one scene I feel like where, even though he kept telling his wife, like, you know, don't talk about her that way, just disregard her and all this shit, like along the way, like he's kind of always defended her. This is like the one instance where he's like, well, how dare you ask me that? Like, of course I love you, and blah, 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 right? Like, I liked, this was a nice,
good talk.
Yeah, it was a nice moment for once, I think, between these two, right? But, you know, anyways.
Yes, yeah.
Adds to the story.
It got me sad when she asked if he was a shift. It was at first when she actually says, "Are you ashamed of me?" You know, and he doesn't agree. Obviously, he's not ashamed. He's never been ashamed of her, right? So,
but a teaser there for you, Jay. There is people called Stone Men that exist that have been.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why maybe my name's gonna end up being Stone Man or whatever. But you know, but
Stone Man, not stoned man.
Well, okay, just to play on words, I guess. But okay.
But yeah, they've been kind of dropping it. It seems like every episode, almost every other episode this season, they've been talking about grayscale here and there and Stone Men. And again, in this episode, even last episode, they talked about it. Tyrion had mentioned it. And now in this episode,
Right, just their version of a racist way of saying what they are. You know, that's what I feel. Because like, I don't, if it's a disease, yeah, you don't want to be going around, you know, calling them Stone Men. Hey, you can call them people with grayscale.
You can, yeah, but the thing is, like, it's very, you can get it. Like, people, they don't know, like, you can pass it on to somebody. So that's why they're always scared of people with grayscale, because it seems like you can contract it from the other people. So, like, I think it's almost like they're like, you know, there's an area where all these people basically end up because society basically discards them, right? Like, it's like a
seems like a version of herpes, though.
All right, moving on.
All right, let's keep moving on. I understand. Okay, but just go.
At Winterfell, Sansa Stark takes the opportunity to visit her family's underground crypts. She comes to the tomb and statue of her aunt, Lyanna Stark, and finds the feather token that Robert Baratheon left there years ago when he visited the castle. Baelish arrives and says he thought he'd find her there. Sansa remarks that her father, Ned Stark, never talked about Lyanna, but she would at times find him down in the crypts lighting candles at her tomb. Sansa never knew Lyanna because she died before she was born, but she knows that people say she was beautiful. Baelish says that he actually saw Lyanna once years ago and that she was as beautiful as everyone says. Back when he was a boy living with Sansa's mother's family, the old Lord Went of Harrenhal held a massive tournament. Every notable figure of the time came from across Westeros: the Mad King, Crown Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, Robert Baratheon, Lyanna Stark, everyone. Lyanna had already been publicly betrothed to Robert at the time. Baelish remembers how he was a boy from nowhere and with no significant holdings, to see all these living legends gathered in one place. Prince Rhaegar rode against her Barristan Selmy. Rhaegar won, and the entire crowd erupted in cheers, only to suddenly drop dead silent when Rhaegar rode right past his wife, Elia Martell, to lay the victor's crown, made of blue winter roses, in Lyanna's lap. Not long afterward, Rhaegar made off with Lyanna, sparking off Robert's rebellion, which overthrew the Targaryen dynasty. Baelish wonders how many thousands died because of Rhaegar chose Lyanna, to which Sansa says that he chose her, then kidnapped and raped her. Baelish gives her a look and moves on to another part of the crypts. A lot of history is dropped in this fucking moment.
Yeah, they read everything from the whole
Yeah.
kingdom before, right?
Comments on this? Any
I'm wondering where they're going with it. I even wrote everybody's name down. Fuck, just to remember what was going on, right?
Yeah, no, I, like just like with Brienne in last episode talking about Renly, like just giving these little stories of like things that have happened in the past, but have such a huge impact on this current story that it's like it's so nice, like for the writers and the show creators to like bring in this importance without doing a flashback or without doing like something, you know what I mean? Like they're keeping you present in the moment, but they're explaining the backstory.
just hit on?
And
Yeah, the
it's
fact that there's
perfect.
flashbacks. I think it really works to this show's advantage. And that's why I remember when you were on that episode, I said, "Is this the first flashback we got?"
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that was the first flashback, but
I think it's really fucking smart on their parts that they didn't show a lot of this stuff, but just told it, like you said, through characters, because it kind of got you to understand their relationships and the fact that who they are, who like why they are the way they are, and like what they think on. And also because they could still show these things in these spin-off series if they were to do them. They can still show us these moments because they haven't done it in this show. They only talked about these things a lot of the
yeah,
time, right? Which is honestly, I don't know if that was their plan all along, but really smart on their part, because I hate fucking flashbacks sometimes in shows, and they make it work to their advantage in this show. Like they actually, by telling these tales of like, you know what I mean, of like their past and stuff like that. No, good point. Honestly, that's
yeah.
I think you're right. That's the show's strength. I think is how they tell stories like this.
Yeah.
Jay, are you a fan of the flashback? I know you like, you watch lots of television. Do you enjoy a good flashback? Like, I don't really love flashbacks.
But
Dream sequences. I hate fucking dream sequences. But like, do you like flashbacks?
I don't mind them at all. No, but I like it. I like how it was done this way through words instead of actually going back. But you have to really pay attention, right? If you wanted to get that sort of a story from what happened before, and it's nice that you get it from somebody like you're gonna get it from somebody like Baelish, because he's gonna remember all that stuff because he wants to keep it to his advantage all the time. He wants to be, knowledgeable about everything, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't mind. Like you can do flashbacks well in other shows, but I just think like I'm excited to see them possibly touch on some of these things in these other shows. Like the fact that they talk about all this Targaryen stuff, and we could see that in House of the Dragons, a lot of these events, right? Eventually, because it's kind of focused on Targaryen stuff for the most part, right? Like not that this
I keep hearing that there's going to be a spin-off of or for like Robert's Rebellion. So specifically about this. I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but I know they keep like threatening it, or not threatening it, but you know what I mean, like
Teasing it.
teasing it. Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I mean. Like I don't mind, but I hate when if they jump back and forth too quick, or not put or they don't put the especially in shows where they don't put the time or the the era that they're if they just do a quick flashback, I'm not so bad about it. But if they're gonna jump back and forth in a TV show, for instance, just for the sake of arguing, by like Yellow Jackets, the difference between the two ages at least, right? So you know how far back they're going, and you can see each sequence when they've gone back, right?
Sometimes it can get confusing depending on the show.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If they don't jump back too far, and if they jump back not far enough where they aged, but enough where it fucks you up, and they don't put a time in it, that would mess you up.
Yeah.
This is a whole different era, right? So it's a little bit easier.
Right. Sansa notices that Baelish is wearing riding clothes, and he explains that he is heading back to King's Landing in this next scene because Cersei sent a letter requesting his presence, and it would be best not to make her suspicious by refusing to come. Sansa will be alone with the Boltons, but he explains his plan to her. Stannis will have to attack the Boltons soon if he is to beat the winter snows, and he bets that Stannis will probably win. Because he is one of the best military commanders in all of Westeros, and the Boltons will be outnumbered by Stannis, as the other northern houses would be quick to betray their lord. Stannis will then make Sansa the new ruler of the North as the last known surviving Stark heir, and in memory of her father Ned's support for Stannis. Sansa explains that what will happen on the off chance that Stannis gets killed, and Baelish explains that marrying Ramsay Bolton now will at least save Sansa in a position to insinuate herself among the Boltons and help destroy them from within in future plans. Either way, Sansa will be Littlefinger's powerful ally in the north. And, again,
Yeah, he does.
kisses her on the lips and departs. He's getting real close with her now.
Creepy uncle.
There you go. There you go. Which the kisses are becoming more and more intimate every time it happens. I think this is like the third time I feel like he's kissed her, but this was like the longest, most like intense.
I think they're trying to get some tongue in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, Baelish is strategizing what will occur here is quite bold and impressive. Like it's kind of he's thinking like 10 moves ahead. Like he's like, this is gonna happen, and that's gonna happen. This and
I actually like don't disagree with his plan. Like I'm like, okay, like at least he in this scene, it seems like okay, maybe he does have her back. Like maybe he is looking out for her because in either scenario, she wins.
No,
But when's he
exactly.
gonna find out what's happening with his brothals, man? That's what I'd like to know. When's he? Because he's gonna get pissed off about that. Yeah.
He's about to find out, right? He has to go back to King's Landing.
Yeah.
Right? And,
that's a whole nother shit show. I can only imagine.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. It is pretty impressive to see. It's also interesting just to see how his mind works. Like, you know what I mean? Because like we know him to be kind of always thinking ahead, but for once he actually lays it out for somebody here. And I think you're right, Christine. I think he actually is. He's right in either regard that he is looking out for her best interest in a sense. Like either way, she's gonna be okay, and that's why he's trying to align himself with her. With being her uncle or whatever now in this situation, right? So yeah,
her uncle,
her uncle daddy.
Yeah. Bronn in this next scene rows the pair ashore at dusk, though Jaime can't help row with his one hand. When they awake the next morning, Bronn kills a snake that was near Jaime's head and roasts it up for breakfast. He's worried. He's worried that the ship's captain will spread word that a Lannister is in Dorne. And Jaime says he bribed him with a large bag of gold, but Bronn still worries. A mounted patrol soon comes by, however, and sees their tracks in the sand. Jaime and Bronn present themselves and try to pass off that they are simple travelers and their boat capsized in the night, but the ruse doesn't work, and the sentries demand that they drop their weapons so they can be taken prisoner and their identities confirmed. Bronn plants his sword in the sand, then quickly throws his dagger in the lead sentry's throat, which is a pretty slick fucking move. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, this was a good like fight scene. We haven't had one of those in a while, so like this was
And also, I kind of liked like how the ruse, like he did such a horrible job. They're like, oh yeah, I thought there was sharks around here. There's no sharks over here. He's like, oh, maybe it was a
dolphins.
Like he's really scrambling for something. He's like, hey, listen, we'll just get out of here, man. Just just tell us where we're going, and we'll be on our way.
Yeah.
No, it's like we're fucked. Right? I just like how slick he was when he put his sword in the sand and like whips out that fucking knife right into the guy's throat. Like he wastes no time. Like Bronn, he actually is a very capable, dirty fucking fighter. Like I gotta say, like for all the shit that he talks, like he can back it up too, which I always appreciate seeing him kind of get into a fight, which has been a while, right? So
yeah.
Jaime and Bronn draw their swords and fight the rest. Jaime can't fight very well left-handed, so Bronn kills one sentry's horse in order for Jaime to fight him on foot. Jaime is being overpowered, but catches the sentry's sword with his metal hand at the last moment.
Dude, that was a slick move. You realize, oh my god, I can use it as a defense.
Right?
I don't need a sword, man. Fuck that. I just gotta block everybody when they're coming at me, or just grab it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It got stuck in it got stuck there too, the sword. That was the funny part, man.
Yeah. Bronn, having finished off the other sentries, notes that they now have their horses, fine Dornish sand steeds capable of running a day and a night without tiring. Jaime says the bodies need to be buried so they won't raise more questions. Bronn says it'll take a lot of time to dig holes for them all, though Jaime again points out that he can't really do much digging with one hand. Annoyed, Bronn then drags off the bodies to bury. A couple of quotes that I pulled from this scene, because of course Bronn always has good ones. When they're talking, he's like, I've had an exciting life. I want my death to be boring, which I thought was a pretty awesome. They were talking about, if what were to happen if he died, I think, or something at some point. And I also
an exciting death. No, why not?
Yeah, and he says when he stops at the sword with his hand, he's like, "Oh, you had a wonderful teacher." Of course, referencing the fact that he had to teach him, retrain him how to sword fight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And also Jamie's quote here about when he talks about the fact he can't just leave the bodies there. He's like, "Bodies raise questions raise armies," which is fucking
This
true.
is
he
true.
knows. He knows.
Good
He's a
stuff.
Lannister.
Any other comments on this scene, guys?
I
No?
just like the way he grabbed it with his fucking sword in his hand. He figured it out. You would have thought
Yeah,
he knew it by then.
I like the action scene. Like it we haven't seen one of those in a while, so that was cool.
Yeah, really good scene. Anyways, meanwhile, elsewhere outside of Sunspear, Ilaria Sand meets with 3 of the 8 sand snakes. This is what I referred to earlier of these new characters that we meet in this episode. Her lover, Oberyn Martell's bastard daughters.
Dun, dun, dun.
Her
Sorry.
name, which I don't think are really mentioned here, or maybe in passing, but I'll point them out here. It says here in the notes. Obara
Nim?
Sand, the eldest, is the daughter of a peasant. Nymeria Sand, commonly called Nim, is the daughter of an Eastern noblewoman. The youngest of the 3, Tyene Sand, is Illyria's own daughter.
Yeah.
He informs them that Prince Doran Martell will not raise Doran's armies to avenge his brother's death, as we kind of seen a couple of episodes ago. They worry that they have no army to march against the Lannisters, but Ilaria tells them that they don't need one to start a war. All they need to do is kill Cersei's daughter, Myrcella, currently in Doran's possession. So that's kind of, as this is going on, which they had alluded to for a while now. Of course, Jamie is there trying to, save his daughter, and it's kind of, it's happening, right? It's leading towards that at this point. Obara then points out that they may have a problem. The Pentoshi ship captain found her in Planky Town, and as Bronn feared, he indeed tried to sell her information about Jaime Lannister's arrival in Dorne. The Sand Snakes, however, were insulted that he wanted to be paid for such vital information instead of offering it freely. So they took him prisoner and tortured it out of him. And as Christina's name here alludes to here, Nymeria uses her whip to knock a bucket over. The turnover bucket reveals that they buried ship's captain neck deep in the sand, and his head has been under a bucket full of venomous scorpions this whole time.
This is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like okay, fun tip. This guy is actually buried under the sand, and those are real scorpions. So
out of here.
He was buried under there for I can't remember how many hours, but hours. And yeah, and those
I
are
mean,
real
it's cool
scorpions.
underneath the sand, but I mean, if your head would just get burnt to a crisp.
Wow, what commitment to this fucking
Yeah, I know. I didn't think that was real too, but I was like, wow, like
Must have put
okay.
the scorpions right before they filmed it. They didn't leave the bucket and the scorpions over his head for 10 hours, did they?
No. But I mean, the fact that he was like trapped. Imagine, like you're trapped in sand. Like I know there's people around and stuff,
Fear
but
factor.
you got to be like totally
Committed to your role?
yeah, or just totally. I don't know. Like have no claustrophobia, fears, nothing, because like you can't move.
No, you can't freak out and be like, "Let me out of here." You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, because it's gonna take them a bit to like dig him out.
Dig you out.
That's crazy. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was actually. It's not like CGI or anything like that. That was a person actually in the sand.
I was about to say
try
it
that.
looked legit, but I didn't think it was actually.
Yeah, it was real.
Wow, that is a good fucking fact on this episode. Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that. Interesting. But
That's pretty neat.
where am I over here? They realize that they are now in a race against time to see who can take Myrcella from Doran first, Jaime Lannister or themselves. Ilaria asks if the 3 girls are with her, knowing this will bring Dorne into war. Nymeria and Tyene say yes. Obara notes that when she first met Oberyn, he was a man whom she had never met, who one day appeared, said he was her father, and that he was taking her away from her mother. Her mother wept, but Oberyn said, "We all must choose our battles, and the gods let us choose our weapons." He threw his spear at her feet, pointed to her mother's tears, then to his spear, and told her to choose. She chose the spear, and answers Ilaria that she is with her, as she chose the path of the spear and war long ago. She then throws her spear to impale the ship's captain's head. These are awesome characters. I really like these characters a lot. I had forgotten honestly about them, and yeah, I was really excited to see them again in this show. Are you a fan of these women, the Sands here, Christina?
I am.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
I mean, they're
they're very good.
badass. They're
Yeah.
fun. Like, they're
They seem to be so far. I mean, I don't know what's going on. We'll see what happens, right? Like we don't know what's going on, but if they're anything like these are the if they're anything like their old man.
They have they definitely have a bit of the Dorn personalities going for them, I will say.
oh,
You got the
100%.
pictures
Yeah.
of it. It's these two, right? There's three altogether, right?
3 plus
8 of them total, I think they said, right? But we've only been introduced to these 3, I think, in this episode.
So like these two right now we're introduced to, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have, I guess, that other one by herself with the shorter hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which
That's
is
the point.
through the spear, I think.
Yeah, she kind of looks more like I could say, what's his name? Like her.
Well, one of them's Ilaria's daughter, like actual daughter, they were saying. Yeah.
This one is Alaria's daughter.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. They were getting used to that, I didn't like that their old man didn't last very fucking long in this series, but yeah, let's see how long they can last. These guys.
Later, when they are at sea, Tyrion urges for Jorah to remove his gag. Jorah will not volunteer any information about himself, but from a few observations, such as the bear sigil on his armor, Tyrion quickly surmises that he must be Jorah Mormont. He kind of does like some detective work here, some deducting skills, which were really well done on his part, right? He kind of figures out his whole plan essentially just by kind of like observing what was going on the boat in this scene, right? Which I thought was really cool. He admits to Tyrion that the queen he has taken him to is not Cersei but Daenerys. Tyrion recalls from small council meetings that Jorah was spying on Daenerys for Varys. Given that he is half the world away from Daenerys, he also accurately deduces that he must have found out he was spying on her and had him exiled, and therefore he kidnapped Tyrion in the hope that presenting him as a gift to Daenerys will get him back in her favor. Tyrion laughs aloud at the situation, informing Jorah that he was already heading to meet Daenerys, so this is a waste of a kidnapping. Tyrion also points out that there is no guarantee that this will change Daenerys' mind about him, and that is just as likely she will remain angry at him and welcome himself as an ally. Jorah smacks Tyrion across the face, quieting him down.
I love this poor guy is just like consistently tied up lately, and he's just in a shitty position all the time. It's fucking hilarious,
But he thrives off of it, man. He
knows how to play it.
Yeah, he like he says, he likes to play the game, right? Like, but yeah, you're right. He's been in a lot of fucking bad situations, as have many of these characters, right? I mean, as many characters that have met their fate on this show, there's also other ones that continue to get out of these fucking situations time and time again. You got to remember that, right? I think that you're kind of we lose focus of that sometimes on this show because we're focusing on all the people that have met their fates. So yeah, but like Tyrion has almost gotten killed like 3 fucking times now, right? So like,
right.
Every night he went to sleep when he was in that prison cell on the side of the wall there.
Oh,
every time he went to sleep, he could have died, right? Every freaking night he was in there.
It just rolled off, yeah.
Imagine that.
Fuck, that'd be scary. Yeah, he kind of basically says, risky scheme. One might even say desperate. If you're right, he's like judging him. In Marine, Daenerys Targaryen is looking down on the streets below from her royal apartments in the Great Pyramid, and Sir Barristan Selmy also brings up Rhaegar Targaryen. He says that the city's inhabitants always seem happy from such a distance, but Rhaegar actually liked to leave the Red Keep and mingle with the common people on the streets. Barristan accompanied him often to guard him and says that Rhaegar liked to sing to people. He was a great singer, so he would find a place on one of the streets just like any public minstrel and sing. He liked to see how much money he could make, and everyone enjoyed his singing, so he often made quite a lot. Daenerys is surprised because her brother Viserys only told her that Rhaegar was a great killer. Interesting fact about her father, the Mad King there, right? Sings to people.
What? Dude, was that word that you said? I just said get cut out there.
Right.
Thanks, that.
Yeah, he sings to people. Interesting fact. Yeah.
Because he's cuckoo?
No, I think he just was like softer.
Mad?
He wasn't mad and he wasn't whatever. I think he just had like more of an artsy flair to him.
Yeah, this.
It's
You
so
know, maybe
different
he had
than
his
like
happy pills or
the
his happy
the
smoke.
the description of him in this scene is just like, because everyone talks about how much of a monster he was and how much of a like asshole he is, and it's just like, no, like he actually wasn't, and maybe we have it all wrong, and the people that were closest to him know him, like Sir Barristan knows him, like he was part of his Kingsguard, right? So he knows. But I don't know, I like this scene
Yeah,
when
again, it
he's telling Daenerys because she doesn't know otherwise, right?
shows another side to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you had mentioned earlier about like hearing these stories from the characters talking about past stuff, right? And how how they feel about certain people. So anyways, as we get into the last scene here, Barristan scoffs that Rhaegar was a great warrior but never enjoyed killing. He was a gentleman who enjoyed singing. She asks what they did with all the money, and Barristan says that they did all sorts of things. Sometimes they just gave it to the next singer on the road. Once Rhaegar gave it all to an orphanage in the slums of Flea Bottom, and one time they spent it to get horribly drunk. Dario Naharis then comes to say that the day's supplicants are waiting in the throne room. Chief among them is Darzalurak. Aware of his dislike of politics, Daenerys asks if Barristan wants to attend her in the throne room. After being assured that Dario has her back, she gives him the day off, cheerfully telling him to make some music in the city below.
So sweet.
Nice parting words for Barristan here, right? So, unfortunately, yeah. His Dar again beseeches Daenerys to reopen the fighting pits of Meereen because today is the traditional beginning of the fighting season. Daenerys again refuses, but he rationally argues that the fighting pits provide a great spectacle that has always been enjoyed by both the slave masters and slaves, and is one of the few things that can bring the city together. Bringing back his major tradition will not instantly solve all of her problems, he concedes, but it would be a start at mending together her subjects. I'm kind of down with fighting to the death as entertainment value.
Well, bro, I mean,
They
like
don't have very much.
they used to do that all the time. That's what the fucking Coliseum was for. They let people watch people die.
Yeah, we got Gladiator out of that, right? I mean,
Yeah, like,
My
fuck,
favorite
man.
movie of all time.
You
know
like
what's so
Gladiator,
weird?
eh? I love
I
fucking
love
Gladiator.
Gladiator. It's my favorite movie.
Yeah, CJ,
It's
I
just-
fucking told you. I pitched that movie for late night at the movies one time. He's like Gladiator. I'm like,
I
bro,
seen
fuck
it already.
It's
I
a
mean,
fantastic
fuck.
movie.
it is. It's fucking great. It's definitely Russell Crowe's best movie in my opinion.
100%.
You don't like when he talks Italian? No.
Oh
With
yeah,
the- with the priest? Come on.
let's get the fuck out of here with that movie. Have you seen that, Christina? The Pope.
No,
Oh.
no.
It's weird. He speaks Italian in it as a pope. It's really fucking weird.
Oh, we
Like,
just watched.
I mean, it's
Was it
full
Nice
Italian.
Guys with Ryan Gosling?
Love Night. I love that movie.
It was a good. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Oh,
With
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
only liked him in the Notebook. Okay, leave me alone.
I liked him in Barbie. Anyways,
was good. Yeah, I'm
it was good,
cannot.
yeah.
Okay.
What do
Game
we
of
got?
Thrones.
He again beseeches Daenerys to. Oh, yeah, I already said that. Well, anyways, I'm down with fighting for. I don't mind that this exists at this point in time. It's
Me
pretty
either.
barbaric anyways, so
I don't know why she's so against it, but whatever.
I mean,
So
again,
used to settle people down.
yeah, if people are down with it, like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
Keeps them from doing it to each other.
as he speaks, the Sons of the Harpy are already mounting a series of large-scale attacks in the streets. A Marinese prostitute helps them distract and kill some of the Second Sons. And when a patrol of Unsullied arrives, she feigns fear and directs them into a trap by pointing that the Sons of the Harpy ran into a narrow alleyway. The Unsullied give chase, only to be surrounded by a much larger number of the Sons of the Harpy. Brutal fighting rages throughout the streets of Meereen. Grey Worm is among the ambushed Unsullied. He kills many of the attackers, but loses his helmet, is slashed in the leg, and is stabbed in the side. Grey Worm pulls the dagger out of his own chest, stabs a foe in the throat with it, and keeps fighting, though his wounds slow him considerably. Most of the Sons of the Harpy are dead, but they outnumber the Unsullied so much to begin with that only Grey Worm is left. Just then, Sir Barristan arrives on his day off and saves Grey Worm from certain death by drawing the attention of the remaining rebels. He takes on 8 Sons of the Harpy, killing 7 of them, and the 8th stabs him in the belly. He falls to his knees, but before the attacker can cut his throat, Grey Worm thrusts his spear into his back, killing him. Grey Worm staggers over to the unconscious Barristan before collapsing from his wounds.
We
Holy,
don't even know if he's dead yet, though.
yeah.
Like,
How
I don't
about
know, man.
Barristan, though, taking out fucking a shitload of these guys, right? I mean, like, what
He's
a
been around, bro.
what a save on his part. Grey Worm, I mean, we don't know if even he's going to survive this ordeal, but like he'd be dead if it wasn't for Barristan there. Like he would be
Oh, yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, really sad scene. I mean, I think we were finally getting to know Barristan, liking the character. If he does die, though, leaves a perfect opening for Jorah Mormont to come back into the picture.
I don't know. He's around still, so we know he's still getting paid.
Who do you think survived this, if anybody? Jay,
The younger one?
Grey Worm. You think Grey Worm
Yeah.
survived? Barristan's
If
dead.
anybody, you would think. I mean, I guess maybe Sir Barristan is more important. I don't know. I didn't look ahead yet, so I haven't gone ahead of this one yet. So I don't know. I wanted to watch it, but it was already late after that. After I watched this one, so I was like, and then I got into other stuff. But yeah, I don't know yet. So plus, I don't like I said, I don't like to go too far ahead. Otherwise, I get confused.
Really great lead up though for the end of the episode. Honestly, like this kind of got you going. It was really exciting.
And knowing them, they probably won't even mention it next episode.
Of course. Well, you're right. They may not. You're right. Actually, they have done that. They have done that before. They'll wait for a whole episode and then address it. Yeah. I don't know. It's a pretty big one, though. I think they're gonna address this right sooner than later, but I don't know for a fact if they do or not next episode. You imagine next episode, a whole Bran episode. Let's go.
I'm not coming on for that one.
It says something about Lost Boy, isn't that what it is, or something? The next one, I wrote it down.
All the next episode.
Oh, kill the boy. So I don't know what it is.
Maybe.
I don't know which boy they're talking about yet.
But yeah, that's the end of this episode. Any thoughts? Final thoughts, Christina? Final thoughts on this one?
Again, like we had 2 great fight scenes. We're getting into the thick of the season. Like we're getting into the middle, and the meat part of the sandwich here. And I don't know. Like it's just you're never gonna get a bad review on any episode from me. I love this show. This show.
This might be my favorite season so far that we've talked about.
I think we even mentioned it at the end of season 4 or when I came on for season 1 and we were just talking about the future of like this is definitely like you are a Game of Thrones fan now. Like if you have invested so far and you're still watching, you are a fan. Like you've made it. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're in it. You're in it for the rest of the duration at this point. Yeah,
I have no other. Yeah, I got no other choice. But now I'm in there. Yeah, so I've got fucking notepads full. Fucking.
And Jay, like we said it already this episode, like we're not even at the top of the roller coaster here, man. Like you're not even we're not even close. We're still climbing.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Oh, God, it's so good.
I
wish I was watching it for the first time again.
I know. I'm kind of jealous of you actually watching it for the first time, Jay, because you're experiencing all this. But I'm glad you are finally. I even picked up this guy, a House Targaryen notebook by Christina the other day. I picked up Jay, and he's yet to grab from me, but I have it for him. I have a.
I love this bromance.
Yeah, I revealed.
It's only on screen now. The romance only is on screen these days.
Romance showmance.
We haven't got to go see a movie lately or anything.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, guys, you're going to date. Come on.
I have to. Christine's going to be leaving me this next week.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I heard somebody else crying about that to me, too, yesterday or today. I think I was talking to him today, yeah.
His wife's leaving him. Yeah, he's crying about it. Yeah, Christine and her sister are
nobody to get him a drink of beer.
I'm going to PEI. That's what.
Oh, so nice.
So that's good. Get out of the city for a while.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to go on that demand date.
So sweet.
Figure something out.
But more on that later, guys. We'll touch on it. But yeah, Jay, any final thoughts on this episode?
It was great. I mean, like I said, I'm in it for the long haul, right? So I'm just waiting to see. I hate how every episode ends in a fucking nail biter, and then you don't know what happens until you go to the next one, right? But
Yeah, but you have the opportunity to see the next one. I get you don't want to fucking, but believe me when I tell you, this was the worst thing about this show when it was on the air, and especially when the last two seasons were like 2 years apart. The fucking finale, it was like a 2 year fucking wait for what was honestly universally almost panned as a letdown. Jay, I gotta tell you, and I'm sorry to say that because I know we're gonna work our ways towards that, but you never know. Like you know what, and I know Christina has been wanting to come on there because she it seems like she has other thoughts now on the show, having kind of sat with it for a long time. I think you had alluded to, right? That's what I mean. Like, you might think otherwise, Jay. I wouldn't say it was universally panned, but I think more people disliked it than not. I don't think it was the worst thing in the world, the ending. There's still a lot to look forward to. So I don't want to kind of make you think that it's not worth your while having watched all this.
No, you have to watch
I
it.
doubt it. I doubt it's not going to be worth my while. I mean, everything I do watch, it ends up being worth my while. I don't have a bad
People
thing to
hated
say about any
Sopranos
show.
when that ended. People fucking hated that ending.
I did too.
And it's one of the best fucking shows ever, in my opinion. And I think that the ending has aged quite well. But at the time, everyone fucking hated that.
The worst part is about any endings, dude, guys. And I'll leave you guys with this one. The worst part about any endings is gonna be hard on anybody. Doesn't matter. You're not gonna impress. You're not gonna hit. You're not gonna
hardest thing in the
happy.
World. Not gonna please everyone. Yeah, absolutely.
No, you can't. And so it's either sometimes I sometimes figure that it's either better. It's almost better to put out a shitty ending just to have everybody mad at you than to have nobody mad at you. You know what I mean? Or sorry, to have half and half and have that weird balance and fight. Sometimes.
I agree with what you're saying. The only thing that sucked with Game of Thrones was that we heard about all the shit going on behind the scenes in terms of the production of the show when it was happening at that time, or
the people and stuff. Yeah, right.
That's what really sucked, because now we live in an age where it was just like you were hearing about shit going on behind the scenes, and it really kind of killed the experience in that sense, because like even leading into the season, you're like, I don't know what the fuck's happening with the show. You're hearing bad things. There's Starbucks cups and scenes. Like, we'll get into that how we get to it.
Seriously, I gotta keep my eye open for this
spoiler, shit. There's a scene where there's literally a Starbucks cup in the scene in the last season, and like production design did not even catch it. Shit like that was happening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like people were like actively trying to end the fucking show, right? Like they're just like, we're fucking done with this thing. So it was rushed. It was a rush job, right? If anything.
Yeah, it totally was a rush job.
And they had no source material to pull from. The books that they had caught up to where the books were. The book still isn't fucking done. So yeah, it's more that kind of ruined the experience.
I don't think the 7th book is done. I think they're still on book 7. Like,
so
it's like, I don't even think, like, there's 8 seasons of this show, but I think he's still working on book 7.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is totally made up, like totally like.
Yeah.
Adventuring. They're
yeah, like yeah.
So if anything, I think that's what I mean. Knowing that you can really go into it not having to have to deal with that shit now, Jay. So I think you'll have hopefully a positive experience in that sense. But at the time, it's like we had heard all this shit leading into the last season, and it kind of, I think, soured the experience for a lot of the hardcore fans, right? So yeah. But Christina will be on for those, so don't worry. I'm sure she'll be joining us for those for the last
makeup one,
and possibly for the next couple episodes. So stay tuned, guys. We'll see you next time. Christina, thank you as always for joining us.
You're very welcome. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun talking Game of Thrones with you. And like and subscribe, guys, and yeah, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time. Later.
See you next time.
Oh, what's the next episode? Sorry, season 5, episode 5.
Kill the boy.
Kill the boy. All right. I'll see you for that one. Later.
Nice.